Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Astrology Victoria. Today, with your host Tatiana, and we will be talking about the first 2 weeks of August. These weeks can be probably the most intense of the year, I would say. Hopefully, we'll just ride this way with ease and grace. So let's look at what's going on in the sky for us this week. Okay, we kick off the week, and I think we did talk about this in my last week's video about the Uranus North Node Mars conjunction. So I will not go extensively about this particular alignment. So please watch the video from last week. However, I will mention what's kicking in, right? So Mars, Uranus, North Node. This is it. It's exact 18 degrees. It's hot, hot, hot. The energy of the revolution, the energy of the rebel, the energy of freedom, the energy of just make it or break it. That's that energy that's happening with the square to Saturn, trying to keep things like the way they are, restraining, like resisting. So there is this energy of go, 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 liberation, resist, resist, resist. Maybe chaos, maybe energy of don't throw the baby with the bathwater, please. This energy at its worst or shadow could look like this. Chaotic, erratic, just a lot of energy moving through and just wanting to break free. And that could create a lot of chaos, civil unrest, revolution, and I will read revolution, a dramatic and wide-reaching change in the way something works or is organized, or in people's ideas about it. Forcible overthrow of a social order in favor of a new system. That's what revolution is, and this is the energy of revolution. Okay, maybe this is a little bit too much, but how about maybe a little bit more like this? We just want to break free from whatever is not working. Systems, things, relationships, ways of relating to our work, our relationships, our governments, the way we get our resources and all of that. Maybe there's things that are just not working. And evolution wants us to be free from that so we can express more of who we truly are in our hearts. So at its best, this energy has the capacity to just liberate us and just run for it, go for it, and make those changes with courage and will. That's at its best, right? We want to harness the energy of change and just do it instead of waiting for change to hit us and then, So that's that. Let's go back to what's going on with the kicking in of that this first week. Yes, we do have this square to Saturn forming. We talked about this. And we have a trine to the sun in Leo and Jupiter. So trine, Jupiter, trine, sun. Good news is with this transit, we can feel optimistic. There can be a sense of self-expression of the sun. And in Leo, it's about me, my heart, what I want, how I want to show up in the world. And Jupiter gives that boost of confidence that says, yes, you can be who you truly want to be in this world. You don't have to pretend anymore or be something you are not. And this is the call of that Leo energy, is the energy of self-expression. Now, there is still a little bit of a complication with Venus squaring Chiron, where certain things in relationships might feel like there is still painful realizations around maybe our family or our family dynamics, our relationships, that is coming up. And if we work through those pains like wounds, abandonment, fear of rejection, the family wounds, this is a beautiful time to clear that, to go and look also in what's not worked and what has come from your lineage, because Venus is still in Cancer. Now, if this energy of revolution is too crazy and there's so many changes wanting to happen in your life, and look at your Taurus house. Where is your Taurus house? And if your birthday is on May 10th, November 10th, August 10th, or February 10th, which is around the degrees, the 18th degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, this means that maybe your life is going through a big change, big overhaul, and something is needing to really move you into a different direction. Because if that's your birthday, it's your sun, is your purpose. Anybody with planets or angles at 18 degrees of Taurus will be feeling this massive changes really, really strongly. So take that leap of faith, because this is the energy of, that's it. This is make it or break it. We're jumping from the airplane with our parachute, not knowing how this is going to work out. But rest assured that you do have a parachute, and that when Uranus is in the mix, you have no choice. It's a transpersonal planet, and it will move you into more freedom, more awakening, more self-realization. And sometimes, yes, it can look like crisis, it can look like chaos. And with Mars there can be a lot of willful action. So we want to tame that willful action with who? Venus over here, making a sextile. So you see, when there is a little bit of diplomacy, of tact, of care, then maybe it's easier to make those changes and maybe soothe the volatile energy that is right now in the air. With Uranus, there can be also loss associated, because Uranus detaches, it just breaks free. And then you might think you're losing something. It could be money, it could be things you value. It could be, again, relationships. It could be anything that you're breaking free from. And it could feel like a loss. And then there's crisis and pain. And we're attaching with dear life. Saturn wants to keep things the way they are, and Uranus wants to just move them. So align with the change with courage, and then this energy can be very positive. Otherwise, dun, 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 chaos can ensue, especially with, again, the whole revolutionary movements like farmers making protests around the bans on fertilizers and all those kinds of things that are happening in the world. The world might seem like a chaotic place. However, the change we're effecting is inside of us. We can talk about this astrology as being out there, but in reality, these are psychic maps. So the planets talk to us wherever they are, and our psyche gets impregnated by these energies, and we have the capacity to shift that and align with the ones that we want most to express. So there are certain things that are also could feel difficult, like Mercury opposition Saturn. It's like anything you want to express or self-express. Again, we're in Leo. We want to say what we believe in or how we see things. And Leo can be very entitled sometimes in a little bit of a shadow side. But Leo can be also very assertive and knows its value, what it wants. It's regal energy. And when Saturn is there, boom, it can feel like, what we want to say and express. You know, it's the energy of let's put a YouTube video out, and then suddenly somebody takes it down and you're like, why am I being shut down? So that could feel oppressive in that sense. On the flip side, Saturn always wants us to be responsible with our choices. So if we're moving too fast and just pushing and just recklessly just doing something, Saturn wants to make sure that we're doing it right, that there's responsibility. Likewise, with Mercury, Saturn, are we being responsible with our words? Otherwise, we can be shut down. So take Saturn as that little, it might feel like it's oppressive, that it's, the party pooper. But if you take it as the call to responsible action and responsible freedom movements, it can be a very different experience. And now the other thing that we can be looking at with this is that we might be caught a little bit into some delusions or illusions with Mercury quincunxing Neptune on this day. We might not even be seeing completely clearly the whole picture. With Neptune, there can be a lot of non-clarity, and in a quincunx to Mercury, it might be like what we think, perceive, or want might not be really clear, or we can be prey to delusions or not really seeing things for what they really are, or maybe being too much in a perception zone and not so much in actual reality. Those could be things that are needing to adjust. And this is just at the beginning of this month. This could be happening, and it's like going on for like 2 weeks. This energy is just strong and intense. Now, other little things happening this week. We will have something that is also very, very positive, which is this forming trine of Neptune to Venus. So this comes as that energy of like the spiritual ideals, the love, the soulmates, friendships that are really rooted in love and compassion. Maybe family, in Cancer, it could feel like there is something really nurturing about family, friends, soul connections, maybe soulmates coming in your life, and it's this illusionary, beautiful, romantic love. Is the romance, is Lancelot and Guinevere, it's this beautiful energy. Yes, of the divine love. It's also really creative energy. So if this is really dark and deep, you can use art, like art therapy, to take out of your being anything that's stuck. And why am I saying art therapy? Because there is Pluto opposing Venus as well, slowly forming that opposition. That's going to happen throughout those 2 weeks. Again, Venus-Pluto can bring the shadow side of relationships. So yes, it can be beautiful and amazing and romantic, but there's that dark side, the controlling, or even the possessive, or the obsessions that can come with Venus, Pluto. Or maybe you find, or you meet somebody that's wonderful, and then you find it's a stalker, and eventually, you're caught in a romantic thing that, it could be just somebody's obsessions or your own obsessions about somebody. So art therapy is a beautiful way to express those deeper shadows that can come up in relationships with Venus, Pluto. It can be intense. Also, maybe manipulation can be in the mix. Somebody might want to manipulate you, or you might want to manipulate somebody, So this all brings us back to our shadow. So every relationship we have, especially if it's soulmates or twin flames, if you kind of know about this or believe in this, it's like people are showing you more of you, of your own shadows. And if that can be expressed, that can be released. There is this grand trine coming from Neptune, Venus, and the South Node. So this speaks to gifts that we had from the past, or relationships from the past, or soul connections from the past that that can be also supportive connections towards the movement in the future, which is this tension that we have here between the South Node and the North Node, this push towards something new. So maybe there's different ways of doing relationships that want to be born, and keeping like the best of those connections that we have formed in other lifetimes. That's an option or a possibility with this energy of the Venus, Pluto, and Neptune. Beware of projecting onto others. That's also something very important to take into account when we have these tensions, because it could be your own projections on others and your own jealousy or your own needs to control. So yeah, take it easy if you're starting a new relationship. And yes, it could be very divine. Other little things happening. The key to these energies that it could be very restless is definitely Venus and the diplomacy and the tact. Now we're going to move on a little bit further in the week, and we are going to start slowly seeing what will become something much more tense towards the middle of the month. It's this Grand Cross forming. So this is a Grand Cross because we have the opposition of the Sun to Saturn. Then Saturn, the South Node, and the Moon opposing Mars, Neptune, the North Node. So we have the Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius axis very in tension, and it will start mounting. Right now, it's not quite there at the end of this week, but the energies will start mounting. What does this mean? Many things it could mean. Again, when the Sun is in opposition to Saturn, we might feel that our self-expression and our need to be who we are and who we truly are, how we shine in the world, well, you could feel oppressed. You could feel that you can't self-express. You can feel figures of authority blocking your self-expression, blocking your desire to be. So what happens then with the tension to Uranus, Mars, the Sun can become very rebellious. It's like now then, it's like the teenager that wants to go to a concert or something, and dad says like, no, you're not going. Why not? Because I say so. And then the teenager will go like, okay, whatever. And then they just like escape. And then they leave, and then they get into trouble. And then there's all this conflict. And then that's kind of that energy, is this rebel energy of like, whatever, I'll do what I want, and you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm done. I'm fed up. Bah, bah, bah. And then that's that energy, is that tension. Does it come from authority figures outside ourselves? Especially if you're a Leo and you have your birthday is around it's the 22nd degree. Let me see if I have that exact degree. So yeah, anytime your birthday is between the 15th and the 20th of January, not really. No, what am I saying? Not really. I'm looking at something else in my notes. Anyway, if you have your Sun at 13 degrees of Leo, which is basically August 5th birthday, but not only that, also if it's Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, anything around from the 5th to the, let's say, we're going to say around the 15th, that's when it gets really intense. Yeah, like from the 5th to the 15th, let's say, of Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus. This is where the tension is mounting for you, or you might feel like you want to rebel, that you're fed up with whatever it is that you're fed up with. And the call here is to integrate this desire to be who you truly are and take it slowly, not necessarily by pushing and rushing, but being courageous and brave. And the part of courage that is great comes with Mars being in this trine to Pluto. So this trine to Pluto is also forming these 2 weeks. And what's happening here is Pluto is that raw energy. It's the shadow, but it's also the Kundalini energy. It's the creative energy. The creative energy is the volcanic energy. When it comes into contact with Mars, there is unlimited supply of energy, willpower, and drive. That's it. There's so much energy there that whatever you want to ground and create in the world, Pluto is going to be pushing that. What else could that be? A real drive to transform and release anything that's in the shadows. With Mars there's like this desire to look into what doesn't work and just move it through. It's a great energy. So it's very supportive of this desire for the Earth to evolve and awaken into something that provides more freedom. Yes, it comes with that. And also, if we're talking relationships, this could also be intense sexual passion coming your way. And the best way I would say to take these like Venus, Neptune, and then Pluto, Mars energies is to flow with maybe tantric practices where you can take deep breaths and circulate your energy, so you make your Kundalini energy rise from the base all the way up. And this is the energy of manifestation, because it's drive, it's pure sexual energy. It's the energy of creation. This is where we make babies with. And anything can be created in reality when we harness the energy properly. If we are in this erratic behavior that is impatient, which can come with Uranus, Neptune, Uranus, Mars, if there's that impatience energy, what happens is there will be a break. And we might see this in the world stage. So please leave me comments if you're watching the news and you know of things that are happening, people protesting and protests being like shut down, or conflicts between authority and freedom movements. If that's happening anywhere in the world that you know of, leave me a comment, because that's very typical of this energy. Now, how can we as beings of awareness and awakened beings help? We can help by transforming ourselves, by precisely using this energy of freedom, not to force it outside, but to transform inside. Take those deep breaths, transform it within. Use your art therapy techniques. Go to the water with Venus and Neptune in this beautiful trine, and Cancer and Pisces. The water is the element we want to be working with. Go and swim. If you have too much fire, too much passion, too much heat, go in the water. Go for a swim. Or let the water take you. Or go into the waves of the ocean if you're near an ocean. And if you don't have an ocean, a river, or anything, a bathtub will do. Get in the water. Use that energy to soothe the heat. There's also this energy of compassion with Venus and Neptune, where one act of kindness can go a really long way. So if you see people struggling and you feel that there's too much of this going on, what can you do to be kind, to be gentle, to offer a helping hand? And this completely moves the energy. Aligning with that trine energies helps soothe the difficulties. So we might have the possibility of this conjunction not being so dramatic and so full of crisis if we align with the energy also of prayer, of visualization, of kindness, of heart. Another good thing, some things that are happening is that Mercury is ingressing also into Virgo. And Mercury is happy in Virgo, you know, because Mercury rules Virgo. So the mind in Virgo, and I am a Mercury Virgo person, seeks to understand things in its most efficient way. How can you have chaos and know how to organize it? You know, it's the energy of Excel spreadsheets. It's the energy of drawers and boxes and organization and systems. This Mercury helps us see maybe a little bit of the chaos and put some organization strategy to the chaos. This is a great energy for speaking clearly, concisely, and making some clear plans that can be actually manifest in reality, in the physical. This is earth energy and earth energy here. So once Mercury moves from the more passionate, self-expressive Leo, there is a more grounded and efficient way of maybe doing things that is going to be very positive in the next also 2 weeks as Mercury progresses and will make a trine to Mars eventually this month. There's going to be the mind, the strategy, and the action put into place that will bring those changes. If, of course, we take this energy like that. So, yes, that's that. What else? Towards August 9th, that's next Tuesday, we will have, did I say yes? We're going to have all this. I already talked about all this, the trines, the trine to Pluto. Yes, I did talk about all this. So let's move on to the full moon. So the full moon, as you can see, is full of tension everywhere. Oppositions. There's going to be this Grand Cross is going to be very active at the full moon. And let's say the difficult part is the moon is in conjunction with Saturn. So that full moon is happening in conjunction with Saturn. What does this mean? That we might feel that there's no hope. That's one way. That the oppression is too much. We might feel depressed. We might feel that we can't really express our emotions, or we might feel blocked in the expression of emotions. On a positive side, we might feel that we need to be a little bit more like grown up, like stoic, to face certain situations, which is the gift of Saturn to the moon. It's also the capacity to hold one's emotions so we can deal with things, so it's not so all over the place. But at the same time, it can be difficult and grim at times. It could also be feelings of loss, feelings of oppression. And that's very fleeting because the moon, even though this full moon is like a theme that is blossoming and it's going to be obvious to see that there is maybe something that we would like to become and express, especially because Venus now is entering Leo as well at the same time in this full moon. And Venus in Leo is regal energy, is what I want. It's a little bit of a diva energy, and it could be in the best way diva energy or in the not good way diva energy, but it's, I know my self-worth. I know what I want. I know what I am worth. I want to show off. I love attention, and I love beautiful things and refined things. That's the energy of Venus. But because Venus is in this opposition still with Pluto, there could be a little bit of that. Well, if you don't do this for me, then I'm never going to talk to you again. You know, kind of energy. Energy of Venus in Leo is also a very beautiful creative energy. It can be about making a beautiful painting, going and, I don't know, take a sing a song, I don't know, do your Broadway thing, watch some musicals, like, you know, I don't know, it's very bling bling, it's a very Broadway energy. And so if we take this energy of self-expression and give it a voice, instead of feeling grim and discouraged and disheartened and then having this fighting energy here, then we can elevate the possible difficulty of this month. These tensions that are like literally everywhere, as you can see, like this is, everything is in tension. And because this is squaring also the nodes, this tension is here for a reason. This is it, this is the breaking point. I talked about this last week in my previous video, where this is the breaking point. This is really it. And there's no going back, especially with Pluto and Mars aligning. There's no going back. We're way too deep into it. What else could be happening here aside the intense passions, the power dynamics, the relationships? August 10th. Okay, so there's also something about people that have birthdays between the 15th of January and the 20th of January. There are Capricorn people. I'm talking to you, you are having a Pluto transit to your sun during this time. And when Pluto transits the moon or the sun in anybody's natal chart, this means that we're looking at a complete overhaul of our identity, that we need to completely release the ego attachments or the attachments we have to the idea of who we are, and let that completely be removed from us. That's usually what happens with these transits to the sun from Pluto. And if your identity wants to change, because the Pluto energy is in trine with the North Node energy in Taurus, the change is a positive change that is moving you in a very different direction. And it's okay to let go. However, because Pluto transits can be very, very difficult, you know, sometimes painful, because it's about the attachments that we have and what we don't want to let go of. The invitation is to go with that energy of change and let your ego die, literally, and become posted. Whatever you thought you were might not be anymore what you are. And it will put you into a whole new era, basically. There is, with the Pluto Mars energies, also a huge amount of courage that will come to overcome whatever it is that we're overcoming. And that's the most positive way to look at it, is that yes, crisis may come with loss. Yes, it might come with death. Yes, it might come with pain. Yes, we're fed up. We're fed up. Yes, there's war happening. Yes, the world is in chaos. Yes, there's food shortages. Yes, all of that in many areas and for many people. It's exhausting. However, we are relentless beings and we're being awakened. And when we use the energy of this trine, of this sextile to Neptune, and we let ourselves be dissolved. And it's not about our will. I want this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get it. You are over there, I'm over here. The othering culture, the culture of war that we've had for eons, if we allow this Neptune to dissolve us into oneness, then we don't see things anymore as other. Then our fight is no longer a fight. It's a quest for something divine, for something that is beyond us. It's like release it, completely give it up to the divine, whatever that means for you. Because having trust in something bigger, in God, source, energy, the divine, can be very difficult when you are seeing suffering, pain, loss. It's not easy. However, that's why this sextile is an opportunity. It might not just be obvious, but when you connect yourself and take those minutes to align, to do those breaths I've been talking about, to connect your heart, to see the big picture as something much more way beyond us, our little people here on the planet. And we see this as a transformation of the whole planet into something more brighter. And yes, I'm talking a little bit of spiritual talk here, ascension energy. If you're on this channel, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. This is Gaia ascending. This is our humanity breaking free, Uranus, from old ways of patriarchal ways of being, giving way to the great mother, the feminine energy to blossom into more receptiveness, more beauty, and more abundance, because Taurus is all about abundance. So why have we been blocking our abundance, Saturn? How have we been blocking ourselves, our own abundance? What beliefs do we still have that we owe something to something, or that we need to, or that we're not worth? We're not worthy of the natural abundance that is everywhere. Like here where I'm living, I go out and we're picking blueberries. And these blueberries just keep coming up. And every day I have to pick more blueberries. And this is how nature works. If you let it flow and be and you align with that, there is unending abundance for everyone. And I don't know what beliefs we have, that some are poor and some are rich, and some control things and others can't have things. But if we start shifting those perceptions, even within ourselves, that if we don't have, I don't know, this piece of paper, if we don't have this, then we don't have worth. This is plastic. What is this? Nothing. Go and take a blueberry, or go and see the food, go and see a tree, and see how the abundance lies everywhere in nature. Abundance of resources is also your skills. What are you skillful at? What are you masterful at? Can you build something? Can you create something? Are you good with speech? Can you nurture somebody? Those gifts are the gifts that will bring you the actual abundance, these exchanges that we have with each other. So yes, the energy of money is an energy, but so is the energy of knowing that we are not tied to an idea of currency or an idea of without that I cannot have. And these are the things that I believe right now are being completely turned upside down on its head. Please, if you can, align with that energy of the divine feminine, the one that brings in, the one that rests and remains in calm and peace and allows things to flow to her. That's why I say a lot of the key lies in this Venus energy, right? Allow it to come. Transform it. Give it water. Give it this. Give it flow. Because too much of this will just break the container. And then we're going to have to pick up the pieces. When we have to pick up the pieces, then it's, well, you had a choice and now there's no choice. You just have to do it. Which is also very positive with this energy. When you're forced to it and it just happens, let's say there's an earthquake and unfortunately your house falls down, then you have no choice but to rebuild. You have no choice. This will happen to you. So in order to avoid these energies from enacting in this way, right? What we want is to create something that is already a beautiful future, that we know that is prosperous, that is abundant. Yeah, towards the middle of the week after this full moon, we'll have a little bit of easing off, because these we're going to have a little bit more trines going on here, with Venus starting to trine Jupiter. And this will be a beautiful expression precisely of abundance, of grace. You know, Venus Jupiter is beauty, is lusciousness, and it's fire energy. So it's the energy of the bling bling, you know, sparkles, refined things, like getting things that you love, things that make you feel good. It's a good energy. Like, just beware to not overexpend. If you're spending, don't just go all the way, don't go over top, but give yourself, you know, indulge a little bit. It's an energy of indulgence, and it's an energy of allowing for some indulgence. And not only that, it's also a very creative energy. It's Leo, it's creative. So why not indulge in expressing something to somebody? Maybe sing a song, maybe, I don't know. Everybody has gifts. Everybody can also tap into artistic talents. We all have the ability to sing, dance, create, do a little doodle. And anything that you create, even if you've been like, oh, I can't do this, it's too scary, it's just there for a reason. We are creative beings, and this is the energy of creativity at its best, you know. So take that into consideration when this energy of Jupiter and Venus comes along, because it also brings beautiful friendships and expands the sense of love and connectedness and lusciousness. So yeah, that can ease off a little bit the difficulties. And we're going to have Mercury, like I said before, starting to trine this combo here. And this is when, by the middle of the week, we're going to be able to be more clear in our direction and how to act. And things, I feel, also with this very erratic energy, is when there's like this dust storm, right? And everything's like, and then the dust will slowly settle. And once it settles, you can see clearly and you can have more clarity of what to do, exactly what to do. The other beautiful thing is when we have Mercury trining Uranus, that's when we have the eureka. That's when we have those downloads, those genius ideas that you don't know where they come from. It comes from our evolutionary place. This is good times to center yourself and channeling. Why channeling? Because when you channel yourself, your deeper, highest being, in the most highest of alignment, then that's what comes through. You connect to a higher version of yourself that brings messages of how to solve problems that you probably didn't even think of how they were possible to solve. And then boom, the idea just comes there. So this is a good time to write it down, jot your ideas, that genius thing that comes to you. And Mercury in Virgo, it's very concise, it's precise. So these ideas are like, they come, you can ground them, and you just don't know where they come from. And share them as well, speak these ideas. And this is where we can get the most ingenious of inventions happening. Through the chaos and the difficulty and something cut down, poof, comes the genius idea of how to rebuild something in a way that's phenomenal. So you see, all this happens for a reason. Everything is happening for a reason. And that's the other very important thing to take into consideration with these possibly very restless times, is that everything is in perfect order, no matter what. From the chaos comes the order at some point, and things always evolve and move forward. And if we are really tuning into the energies of the evolution, then we live by making choices more conscious, like conscious choosing. If we know that this is what's happening, okay, let's try to avoid the impulsiveness. This week's, let's avoid burning bridges just because we want to be rebel and just do what we want and not think things through. This week, let's align with compassion and grace, and let's align with like-minded people. Let's align with our spiritual selves. Let's do some little practices that can be more to ground yourself. Also, let's align with inner changing. Change the world inside of you and the world outside of you will change. And also spread love and kindness. Use those energies of the Venus and Neptune and the Venus Jupiter to spread beauty all around you. Spread it, be it, embody it. Because when you become the embodiment of that, you know what happens? Then things start to magnetize towards you and change around you. Just change yourself and the world around you will change. Challenge those old beliefs. Challenge those old ways of doing things. Challenge those patterns that tell you that you don't deserve abundance. Challenge all of that. Where does it come from? And if you are having difficulties in this moment, this is an opportunity. Just know that it's always an opportunity. Anyway, I'm going to leave you here. These 2 weeks, I'm going to be out on an island doing my inner transformation / emitting of love energy to the world for a week or so. So I won't be here next week. That's why I gave you a report for the next 2 weeks, which I hope you will take and chew it and act it in the best way possible. And if you like this video, please feel free to share it and subscribe to the channel. If you are needing help with anything, you can contact me and I can do a reading for you, either an evolutionary astrology reading of your birth chart or your transit readings or solar returns for people that right now are having their birthdays and might have really strenuous year, how we can work with your solar return as well, or anything that you need. I am here to serve you, help you, and encourage you into being the best version of you every day. That's why I do this, and thank you for supporting me and my channel, because this makes me really happy to know that I'm serving a higher purpose in this life. All right, this is it, and blessings to you all. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.